So ESPN has dropped their top 100 newcomers, and some Sooners hit that list. Let's talk about it a little bit more here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
College football is back, and it's not too late to catch up before the season kicks off. SEC, ACC, Big Ten, Big 12. You can get it all from Locked On stable of college experts by subscribing to the Locked On College Football Podcast. Who has a chance to make the playoffs? What teams will cause chaos? I think the Sooners will. In their new conferences and everything you need to know all in one place. Be sure to follow and subscribe to Locked On College Football Podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. So ESPN dropped a top 100 newcomers list. And of course, you had a couple Sooners on there. So we've got to talk about and praise these guys. The first one that hit up there, he ended up in the top 14. So top 25 initially came out. And he was number 14 on the list, which is Deon Burks. Of course, yes, transferring from Purdue to Oklahoma. We just talked about the wide receiver room and how excited we are about Andrew Anthony making his value return. To me, that just opened things up even more for what Deon Burks is going to be able to do this season. And so what ESPN wrote about him is Burks landed in the portal after a breakout sophomore season at Purdue that saw him record 47 catches for 629 yards and 7 scores. He arrives at Oklahoma as another new face in Oklahoma in the Sooners offense as Jackson Arnold steps up and under the center, and first-year offensive coordinator Seth Littrell takes charge. Burks is the complete wide receiver the Sooners were missing last fall after Marvin Mims Jr. jumped to the NFL, and he should be a popular downfield choice for Arnold. Now, we all know he is going to be a popular downfield option because we watched him do that in the spring game. I'm telling you, the way that Jackson Arnold was keying in on Deon Burks, it told me everything I needed to know. They're going to have a great rapport and relationship, and boy, are they going to set things out. And so you add him. We saw what he did with Brenen Thompson last season when Brenen came in and he was healthy against Arizona in the bowl game. He was able to get himself comfortable. When Jackson Arnold got comfortable as a true freshman, he sat there, boom, looked in the pocket, and blam, launched that thing. And guess what? He's hitting Brenen Thompson deep for a 60-yard touchdown. I see the same thing from Deon Burks. We saw it in the spring game. And of course, you know, you're playing against players and your teammates, and you know and have an idea of what defense sets are coming your way. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be doing a similar thing when it comes to the opponents they play this season. I see Seth Littrell scheming things up perfectly to where you're going to see a lot of Deon Burks and Jackson Arnold connections. I see a lot of Brenen Thompson connections with Jackson Arnold. Nick Anderson should also get... Look, I expect the ball to be spread around thoroughly while also running the ball. And so for me, seeing that Deon Burks is getting recognition from the big boys out there tells me that they knew that he was going to be a big pickup, right? Now, he's one of the top wide receivers on this list. He made top 25. He's the third wide receiver on the list outside of Isaiah Bond and Jeremiah Smith, in which Jeremiah Smith is a freshman, and we know that he's going to be pretty good over there at Ohio State. Deon Burks is not one to sneeze at, and that's why he was so high on here at 14 in the top 25 with the top 100 they talked about. Now, later on in the article, ESPN dove into some additional players. They went through big men, they went through skills guys and everything. And in that big man list, we of course had another player. That's right, Dominic Williams. And this is what they said about Dominic, a 27-game starter. 27 games. Man's got a lot of starts on his belt. And a 2022 national runner-up at TCU, Williams transfers to Oklahoma, fills a critical hole up in the middle for the Sooners this offseason. Brent Venables' defense entered the SEC down 5 upperclassmen defensive tackles from last fall. Yes, we lost a lot of players. And a 6'1", 319 Williams. Oklahoma gains needed size and experience at the position. He'll start at nose tackle next to true freshman Jayden Jackson, a 3-star signee who has earned high praise from Venables and his staff. And then former Tennessee transfer Dejon Terry will feature heavily in rotation, as could 5-star freshman David Stone. Here's the thing about that. Jayden Jackson comes in at about 312. You've got Dominic Williams sitting there at 319. Then you toss in Dejon Terry at about 330, right? And then you're starting to see that we're getting to the position where Nick Saban said that we wasn't at, which is having players big enough to handle the SEC grind. Y'all know that I laugh at the thought and the notion that Oklahoma does not have players big enough to handle the SEC. It's preposterous as well as ludicrous. We've got that. We've got players. When I went through every team's rosters. I've got the numbers. I'm going to have to put together a full video to break it down, but because it's going to take more than just the next 5 minutes to do that. But when I went through it, Oklahoma sits within the top 8 of the SEC with big men in the defensive trenches. Offensively, we have one of the bigger offensive lines in the SEC as well. We're in the 300 range in average. I think we average 311 pounds on the offensive line. And so the defensive line, from 290 up, we got over 10 players in there. And you got young players. David Stone is up there. He's in the 290s, right? You've got, Devon Sears. He's getting up there in the 290s. You got Marcus Strong in the 290s. You just added David just not too long ago, the Southeast kid that just came from New Mexico. He's 310. You're adding a lot of players in size to have those bodies, and you've got players that can actually play. I think a Grayson Halton's going to get there. He's about 285. He needs about 3 or 4 Uncrustables, and he'll get you to that 290, 295 range. But this team is built with enough players in the trenches to be able to handle the SEC. So, I mean, Nick Saban's got his fears and whatnot. We watched this team push around, that totally SEC-ready Texas squad when we played them this past season. So, to me, I know that having the big bodies we have now, we are good to go. And so it's good to see that the newcomers on our squad, we've got some recognition there. I would have liked to have seen some recognition for like a Caden Woolard, coming in with almost double-digit sacks. Yeah, I think at 9.5 over there at Miami of Ohio. As y'all know, I've talked about him. He's one of the guys that I consider that's going to be a big-time sleeper, but, it's okay. We understand that not all of your G5 guys called up are going to get the same love and attention as other ones out there. And so the good thing for Oklahoma is that we've got the body. So y'all should be excited about that. We know what to expect this coming season from Oklahoma. We know that defensively we should be one of the tops, and I'm hoping that they make that happen there. So Sooners making the playoffs? And a Sooner leader just did something really, really cool. Let's talk about it on the other side here on Locked On Sooners. Do you ever get tired after work knowing that you got to hit the gym or to your kids' events, soccer events, school activities, or whatnot, and you're worn? I feel like that too, man. Like, heck, today was a very tiring day here at the workplace, and so I grabbed myself a 5-hour energy, had one in the cabinet, and thoroughly enjoyed it. It helps me to wake up and get going. It helps me get in the zone, gets me going before my workout, and now I feel a lot more refreshed, and it gives me the pick-me-up I needed without the crash. The best part about 5-hour energy is 0 sugar and the convenient portable size. It's perfect pick-me-up for me to get stuff done. And with 5-hour energy, they've got all the kinds of flavors, from watermelon to orange to tropical bursts, great berry. I mean, I love the berry. Enjoy the orange too. Hey, y'all calm down. Don't get mad over there. But they're all great flavors or whatnot. And on their site, you can build your own 12 and 24 packs. So you can choose any flavors you like, and they'll deliver it to your house. So you got to go check them out. So if you go to 5hourenergy.com, that's the number 5, hourenergy.com, and want to get you some products, use our promo code LOCKEDONCFB to receive 20% off your order. Now, this offer is valid only until September 30th on one order and cannot be used on other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. So go to 5 Hour Energy, the number 5, hourenergy.com today.